It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update, as Kenny Omega is set to take on a recently released WWE superstar, and Tessa Blanchard has been spotted training with an AEW wrestler. All that and more coming up in today's video, but first, last night's NXT saw a new North American Champion crowned as Bronson Reed came out on top in the cage match main event against Johnny Gargano. Despite interference from Gargano's running boy Austin Theory, Reed got the pinfall after a tsunami from the top rope. This title change is ahead of another title match set for next week, which will see the NXT Championship on the line with Karrion Kross defending against former champion Finn Balor. Will it be two title changes in 2 weeks? NXT are actually on the verge of having a title match for 4 weeks straight, with last week seeing Raquel Gonzalez successfully defending the NXT Women's title against Mercedes Martinez, and on the same night Kushida defended his Cruiserweight title against Santos Escobar in a 2 out of 3 falls match in the main event. And the week after next, the NXT tag titles will be on the line with MSK defending against Legado del Fantasma after they earned a shot on last night's show. On May 30th, AEW will hold the 3rd annual Double or Nothing pay-per-view in front of a full crowd for the first time since the pandemic began. So far there has been 5 matches confirmed, with Adam Page set to take on Brian Cage, Cody Rhodes will battle Anthony Ogogo, Hikaru Shida will defend her AEW Women's title against Britt Baker, and Kenny Omega will defend his AEW World title against Orange Cassidy and Pac in a 3-way dance. On top of this, there will be a Casino Battle Royale which sees 21 men fight for a future AEW World title opportunity. AEW have now announced 10 of the participants for the match, with Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, 10, Evil Uno, Colt Cabana, Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn and Jungle Boy all set to be taking part. You'd have to say at this point that Christian Cage is the early favourite to come out on top, but with 11 more names set to enter, it's too early to say that with full confidence. Next week I will be doing a full rundown of each match, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and I'll give my predictions in that video too. But for now, let me know what you're looking forward to the most in the comments down below. On a recent AAA show, Andrade made his debut for the promotion in a pre-taped vignette which saw him call out the AAA Mega Champion Kenny Omega for a match at TripleMania. The match has now been confirmed, with the bout set for the 14th of August at the Mexico City Arena. This will be AAA's first show with a crowd since the pandemic began, and this also marks Andrade's first appearance in AAA, having worked for their rival CMLL as La Sombra before his time in WWE. The champion Omega addressed his next challenger in a pre-recorded statement and said, "This belt, the one that represents Lucha Libre that you so proudly represent, it's always going to be around my waist. And you should be thankful, because not only do I represent Lucha Libre, I represent all pro wrestling. That's not going to change anytime soon. Send your best at me, send Andrade. The dream match is going to happen. Andrade versus Kenny Omega, TripleMania. I'll see you there." Not only is this Andrade's first match in AAA, but it's also his first time competing against Kenny Omega. This will be Omega's 5th defense of his title, having previously defended it against Jack Evans, Dragon Lee, Sammy Guevara and Laredo Kid. It's certainly a tough match to call with Omega on his belt collecting quest, but Andrade is a huge signing for AAA and they will likely be keen to put the title on him as soon as possible. Hopefully we see this feud bleed over onto AEW Dynamite as the match draws near, as it would be great to see Andrade appear on the show in some capacity. Also, the match aside, I find it interesting that Andrade is continuing to use his WWE name, which they almost certainly hold the rights to. It seems not only have WWE waived the no compete clause in his contract, but they're allowing him to use the name that he is most known for. This is very out of character for the company, but it seems to indicate that they'd like to avoid burning any bridges bridges to keep him sweet, perhaps for a return at some point once he's increased his name value elsewhere. WWE have yet to create the true successor to Rey Mysterio as the biggest name in Mexico, so maybe this is all part of the plan with him going to Mexico to become a huge name before jumping back. A few news videos ago, we discussed the possibility of an AEW show on Friday night to go head to head against WWE's biggest show, SmackDown. This speculation was squashed a few days later, with it being confirmed that the TNT show booked for November, which was what started the speculation to begin with, was actually set to be a one-off Friday show ahead of the Full Gear pay-per-view the next night. It seems these Friday pay-per-view go-home shows will begin earlier than we thought, as it has now been confirmed that next week's Dynamite will be the first ever Friday Night Dynamite ahead of Sunday's Double or Nothing pay-per-view. The show will take place at 10 PM Eastern, meaning it will not be running in opposition with WWE SmackDown over on Fox, which starts at 8 PM and ends at 10 PM. The card for the show is yet to be announced, but we will likely have some matches confirmed on tonight's episode. The show will be airing live on TNT from 10 PM Eastern, with 2 hours of AEW Dark being taped before the show for YouTube. The move is happening due to a clash with the NBA playoffs, which will be airing in Dynamite's time slot on TNT next Wednesday night. The Wrestling Observer are also reporting that AEW will be forced to move once again on the 6th of June for the same reason. This show will either be moved to Friday or Saturday night, depending on which playoff game airs on TNT. And before we continue, why not go and grab the free Young Bucks audiobook using our Audible affiliate link in the description below. And while you're down there, why not subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss any upcoming videos. But let's get back to the news. It will be interesting to see how the move affects the viewership, as it could go one of two ways. Either we'll see an increase due to it being a go-home show, as well as directly following SmackDown, with a number of wrestling fans changing the channel after the show, or it could be a negative, with less fans tuning in due to the show being on later on in the night and ending at midnight, as well as it airing on a Friday as opposed to a Wednesday, with some fans not aware of the change. I guess we'll have to see how it goes. Over the past few weeks, there has been a lot of speculation as to the future of former Impact World Champion Tessa Blanchard and what her future may hold. There has been rumours that she's heading to NXT, as well as talks with her being deep into negotiations with AEW. Fuel has been added to that fire after she has been spotted training with AEW star Dustin Rhodes at the Rhodes Wrestling Academy alongside her husband Daga. Dustin tweeted out a photo with the caption, "Had some special guests come to train today at the Rhodes Academy: Tessa Blanchard, Daga, Vixen and Jasmine Allure. Thanks guys for the Academy sweat." Of course, this could just be a one-off session and does not necessarily make Tessa AEW confirmed, but it does show that some people within the company are willing to work with her following her recent controversies, and not only work with her but make it public. It's unknown if this is just to test the waters with the AEW fanbase just to gauge a response, or whether it truly is just a one-off training appearance. As always, we will follow the Tessa Blanchard story closely and let you know if there is any developments as we go forward. But before you go, make sure you check out 10 AEW and All Out wrestlers who later signed for WWE.